Today, we're going to talk about the first appearances and key issues for the greatest day of the week. New Comic Book Day, August 24th, 2022. That's coming up next. I'm Jimmy Don Kerr, and this is the Small Town Collectibles YouTube channel. So before we get into talking about all the first appearances and the key issues and cool covers this week, I want to ask you, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do that now. Hit that subscription button, turn on that notification bell so that you get notified when I put out new content. Smash that like button and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the video and what books you're looking most forward to this week. All right, now let's jump into this thing. As you can see, I'm at the office today having to record this. Dance season and volleyball season and soccer season are in full swing at the small town household. And if I'm going to get this done, it has to be done here at the office. So sorry for the change of scenery, but it's very bright in here. I actually moved my office over into a different part of the building, and it's very bright. So yeah, hopefully that comes through here on the video. All right, so let's jump into our first category. As always, we're going to do our covers. First up, this is probably my cover of the week just because I absolutely love Superman and I love Lee Bermejo. Bermejo's been doing a lot of work on Detective Comics, and he has done an absolutely fire cover for Action Comics number 1046. This is the cover B variant, and I absolutely love this. I think this is fire. Already got it pre-ordered. Cannot wait to get this one in the PC. Now, the next one, same comic book, Action Comics 1046. Now, this is the swimsuit variant, and this the cover art is by Art Germ. But really, you're going to look at this cover and you're going to say, Jimmy, we know why you like this cover. Superwoman looking all sexy, or Supergirl looking all sexy here on the cover. But that's really not it. If you look in the background, you see Superman back there in full pose in his Speedos. And I have laughed ever since I noticed that. But this is a great Art Germ cover, very beautiful. But Superman standing in the background has killed me. I am not even lying. All right. Next cover, Grimm Fairy Tales Annual 2022 #1. This is the one shot that's out this week. This is the cover D variant by Ivan Tao. Just love the cover. Love the colors. Love that pink coming out from the sorcerer or sorceress, I guess, there in the photo. I don't know. Just think it's a dope cover. It stood out to me, and I really, really like that one. All right, now wrapping up our covers list this week, Gun Honey, Bound for Blood #1, another Art Germ cover. I mean, look at it. What can I say? Gorgeous cover by Art Germ. Love Gun Honey. Really excited for this new title out this week. All right, now that's it for our covers. So let's jump over into our second prints, and we've got 3 this week. First up, we've got Amazing Spider-Man Volume 6, number 5. This is the cover E second print from John Romita Jr. Also from Marvel, we've got Ghost Rider number 4, the cover E second print from Corey Smith. And then wrapping up our second prints and a really dope cover. I've really liked all the covers for this title as well. Miss Meow #1. This is the cover F second print. Now, let's jump over into our one-shots. First up from DC, we've got Olympus Rebirth #1. After years of bitter and violent conflict, the Greek pantheon of gods stands united to welcome their latest goddess, Hippolyta Athesmakyra. Due to her heroic efforts in the mortal realm, the former queen has earned her rightful place among the gods and plans to use her newfound powers to take care of her Amazon sisters from beyond. Little does she know, some of the gods are wary of the new future Hippolyta brings and will do just about anything to stop it. So that's Olympus Rebirth #1. Next up, also from DC, we've got Tales of the Human Target #1. Building on the most critically acclaimed series of the year, Tom King and 4 of comics' top artists tell the tale of what happened before Chance drank Luthor's poison. Chance teams up with fan favorite members of the JLI in 4 connecting mysteries that lead them to that fateful day when one of them will kill the human target. That's Tales of the Human Target #1, and I did read the original series. I really liked it. Definitely going to pick this one up and give it a read. From Dynamite, we've got Deja Thoris Fairy Tales #1. Deja as you have never seen her in a fairy tale. Once upon a time, a queen most jealous sought to destroy any woman fairer than she. And so, a beautiful woman struck out into the wilderness, desperate to evade the queen's envious wrath. The beauty would find allies in the wild, unlike any she had ever seen before, and she made plans to return to the queen, to lay claim to the planet of Barsoom. That's Deja Thor's Fairy Tales #1. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. They had these fairy tale books like Vampirella and those, and I actually did read both of those, and they were pretty good. And that's not the type of titles I generally read, but I like the fairy tale aspect of it. I'll probably check this one out as well. Next up from Source Point Press, we've got Dandy Presents Penny Dreadfuls #1. Queer comedy icon and internet sensation Dandy of the secret organization of homosexuals known as the Lavender Society brings you this special collection of Victorian-era horror stories written and illustrated by the best up-and-coming LGBTQ+ creators. So that's Dandy Presents Penny Dreadfuls #1. Next up from Zenoscope, we've got Grimm Fairy Tales Annual 2022 #1. This is it, what everything has been building toward. The Dark Princess plans to rule the universe are coming to fruition. The worlds are falling before her feet. Only Sky and a handful of desperate heroes stand between hope and utter annihilation in this massive, climactic, oversized conclusion to the fractured universe saga. That's Grimm Fairy Tales Annual 2022 #1. Next up from Boom, we've got Magic Ajani Goldmane #1. This standalone tale introduces new readers to fan favorite Planeswalker Ajani Goldmane, while delving into the past adventures and uncovering surprising revelations for the brave healer's current fans. But what happens when the steadfast, valiant protector faces threats beyond his capabilities? That's Magic Ajani Goldmane #1 from Boom Studios. Next up from Astronaut Inc., we've got new Zodiac's Aquarius #1. Aquarius was once the water bearer, in an age where what you know can mean life or death. Today, the new Aquarius is the information bearer. Benjamin F., aka the Liberator, is the Robin Hood of cyberspace, a teenage hacker who steals the info rich, gives to the info poor, and becomes the most wanted man on the planet as a result. Full color cyber action with a glossy cardstock cover. That's new Zodiac Aquarius #1 from Astronaut Inc. And then wrapping up our one-shots this week, we've got starring Sonya Devereaux Warrior Woman Death Team 5 #1. This comes to us from American Mythology. The starring Sonya Devereaux, impossible to find exclusive cover from the crowdfunder for Warrior Women Death Team 5 #1. So you've got that one shot out this week as well. All right, so that's it for our one shots. But before we jump into the big two, I did want to list this on our list this week. I saw this on Key Collector, and that's previews number 408. And you know, Bad Idea had released something the other day that said they were coming back, and apparently it's in this previews magazine. It says 8-page bound in Bad Idea story titled The Last Supper, written by Mark Wade and illustrated by David LaPalme. So if you're a Bad Idea fan, I like the Bad Idea titles. I've said it many times. I didn't really care for their marketing style. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't, I'm not sure. I definitely had people talking about them. And so this is a little different way to put a story out in this previews magazine. So yeah, that's maybe something you want to check out if you're a Bad Idea fan. All right, now let's jump into the big two. Not a ton from the big two this week. From DC, we've got Detective Comics #27, the Cover D Facsimile Edition, the 2022 version. This, of course, is the first appearance of Batman in comics. So yeah, very, very expensive book. These facsimiles, like I said, tend to hold value, and this is a great one, I think, to pick up. That's it from DC. So let's jump over to Marvel. And we've got a couple from Marvel. First up, we've got Damage Control #1. This is volume 4 of that series. This is a 5-issue limited series by the creator of the TV show The Goldbergs, Adam F. Goldberg. It's one of my favorite shows. I absolutely love that. He's writing this. I'm probably definitely going to check this out. The synopsis reads, Marvel's unsung heroes finally get sung. After the mega-powered battles and Hulk-level catastrophes, damage Control is always there to clean up the mess and get things back to normal. But Damage Control is much more than just a glorified cleanup crew, and this new series will pull back the curtain and reveal the secret inner workings that were previously only available to people with clearance level 8. And we'll witness it all through the eyes of Gus, a fresh-faced, eager newcomer to the company who has no idea how chaotic his life is about to become. So that's Damage Control #1. And then wrapping up Marvel this week is Star Wars Darth Vader #26, where we may have a possible new Darth Vader power. All right, That's it for the big two. Let's jump over into our indies, and we start with Boom, where we've got Wind, the Throne in the Sky, #1. And this is the, I guess, the follow-up to the original series. I think that's written by Tinian. The land of Ezreal has grown darker and more dangerous as tensions between the human and fairy realms threaten to erupt into all-out war. Could Wind be the only hope for peace? And what will his destiny be if he truly is one of the legendary Winged Ones? Prepare to embark on an extraordinary fantasy adventure and discover a world of mysterious legends, ancient prophecies, and the brave heroes at the center of it all. That is Wind, the Throne in the Sky, #1 from Boom Studios. From Dark Horse, we've got Minor Threats, #1. It's hard out there for a supervillain. Not the world conquerors, chaos engines, or arch nemesis, but the little guys. The ones who put on uniforms, knock over jewelry stores, and get tied to poles. And things are about to get worse. The psychotic Stickman has murdered Kid Dusk, sidekick to Twilight City's premier crime fighter, the Insomniac. The Insomniac's teammates are tearing Twilight apart, turning it into a police state, desperate to capture Stickman and stop the Insomniac from crossing that final line in which he may never come back from. Caught in the middle are the small-time C-list villains, finding it impossible to walk down the streets without being harassed by these heroes. With a bounty on Stickman's head, former villain Playtime decides to assemble the ragtag team of villains to take down the Stickman and kill him themselves. So that's Minor Threats, #1 from Dark Horse. I think that sounds fun. It's definitely a read for me this week. Also from Dark Horse, and this is a book I'm looking forward to, is Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, #1. Dark Horse resumes publishing Star Wars for younger audiences, so that's always cool. And our synopsis reads, when the members of the Republic mission led by Senator Padme Amidala are abducted by the ruthless separatist General Grievous, Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi jump to the rescue. But the operation quickly goes awry, and the Jedi find themselves cut off and surrounded by an army of battle droids. Danger and deception at the height of the Clone Wars and Star Wars Hyperspace 1. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think I'm definitely going to pick those up where it's geared more towards younger readers and pick those up for my nephew. So yeah, always excited to be able to share some Star Wars fun with them. Next from Opus, and I'm kind of looking forward to this one as well, and that's Evanescence, Echoes from the Void, #1. There are some cool covers for this one, none that made my list, but I do like the covers. From Grammy award-winning rock band Evanescence, Echoes from the Void features adaptations of the band's musical catalog in short stories created by an all-star cast of graphic artists, animators, illustrators, fine artists, screenwriters, novelists, and more. The first issue is inspired by the single Better Without You, which appears on Evanescence's 5th album, The Bitter Truth, from 2021. So yeah, I think that's cool. You know, you had that Disturbed series, which had some great covers. I did read through it, and it was okay. Not necessarily my favorite, but it was still cool. And I think this is cool too. Evanescence is a great band. I'm actually going to get to watch them this year at Louder Than Life. I think they're on the 9th at Kiss Place, so that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, Evanescence, Echoes from the Void, #1. From Scout, we've got Meta-Linguistic Crime Division's #1. Star comic writer Agatha finds her artist boyfriend murdered and believes that the comic book characters they created together are to blame. Her brother Alan, a wannabe novelist, arrives to offer Agatha support in her grief and accidentally finds himself drawn into an unfinished comic book page. Adding to the confusion, a police unit that specializes in meta crimes arrives and starts investigating the case. Without doubt, things are about to get much worse for Alan and Agatha. Enjoy the first issue of this non-stop title, followed by the entire story collected after in one volume. So that's Meta-Linguistic Crime Division's #1 from Scout. I say it here on here all the time. Scout's one of my favorite publishers. I will definitely be checking that one out. Then from Source Point Press, we've got Cold, #1. In a modern-day Ebenezer Scrooge-esque tale, a cruel old man named Homer goes ice fishing with his dog. The man is desperate to resolve the guilt that burns deep down in his conscience. Homer went fishing for forgiveness, but all he caught was hell. That is Cold, #1 from Source Point Press. Another book I'm absolutely looking forward to this week comes from Titan Comics. Hard Case Crime Gun Honey Blood for Blood, #1. The original Gun Honey series has maybe one of the most shocking middle splash pages I've ever seen. But besides the sex and just the sexiness. It was a great read, and so I'm absolutely looking forward to this one as well. The synopsis reads, 2021's best-selling non-premiere comic is back for a blockbuster new series. With weapons expert Jonathan, the legendary gun hunting off the grid, recuperating from her last job, a vengeful rival takes her place and frames Joanna for murder. On the run from Malaysia to Milan, from Montana to Monaco, can Joanna catch up with her ruthless enemy, or will she catch a bullet first? From Titan Comics, that's Hardcase, Crime, Gun Hunting, Blood for Blood, #1. All right, and our last book from our indie companies this week comes from Vault, and that is End After End, #1. Life is nothing if not a series of endings. School, jobs, friendships, love, until the end. Walter Wellman's end was fast and unexpected. His was an unremarkable life. So how is it that his story continues as cannon fodder in an endless war waged against insatiable darkness, hell-bent on consuming all of existence? And is Walter right in believing he's arrived in the midst of his titanic battle as the one destined to finally end it? That's the tale of the End After End. So from Vault, End After End, #1. That sounds like a pretty good tale as well and might be a fun read. All right, so that's it for our key books this week. Let's jump into our last category, which is the first appearances. Only 2 this week. Both are from Marvel. First up, we've got Carnage #5, where we get the first appearance of a Hellhound companion of Carnage. This is also a very cool cover, but I think all the Carnage is like Venom and Spawn, where all those covers are cool, I think. So Carnage #5, first appearance of the Hellhound companion for Carnage. And then wrapping up the first appearances is Fantastic Four #46, where we get the first full appearance of the sister of Reed Richards. We saw her cameo in Fantastic Four #35. All right, guys, that is it. That's our covers, our key issues, and our first appearances for this week, New Comic Book Day, August 24th, 2022. Hope this list helps you in some way on New Comic Book Day. Make some of your selections. I know I enjoy doing this video. It's really the only thing I'm doing right now just because my schedule's so crazy. I never realized how much time COVID actually gave us. Now both my girls are in high school and we are nonstop every night and weekend. So yeah, it's the only thing I'm getting to do right now. But 10 Questions will be back soon, along with some other content that I've got planned. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. I thank you for spending a little bit of time with me here today on my channel. Hope you guys have the greatest New Comic Book Day ever. I know I'm going to. And you know how we end this thing. Until next time.